The dark side of being a sugar baby, part 1. I was reluctant to even tell this story because it seems like on this platform there's a lot of people that are pro sugar baby, which I don't necessarily have a problem with, but I think it's important to reveal the dark side of it and how bad it can get. And at this point, fuck it. I'm just gonna tell all my stories. In a previous video, I told the story about a girl that I dated who was a secret prostitute, and we ended up breaking up because I discovered what was going on. Anyways, a few months had gone by since we had even talked because we broke up. It wasn't the best breakup, and I wouldn't say we were enemies, but we certainly weren't friends. One night I was out with my friend. We did this whole Taco Tuesday ritual where we would go to Pink Taco on Sunset and then go to Bootsy Bellows, which is a club that was like popular on Tuesday nights. The club's kind of grody, but on Tuesdays, that was like one of the best spots. Anyways, my boy and I were at the bar having a drink, and then I get a tap on the shoulder. I turned around and it was my ex. Yeah, the same one. Now again, I don't hate her, but she was looking hot though, so we left together, and on the way home, she got a FaceTime call. So she crawls into the back seat, which is a very small back seat. It's like I'm driving a Camaro Super Sport 2, like made for the track, like stick shift, all that. American muscle, you know. And so she crawls into the back seat to answer this FaceTime call at like 1:30 in the morning to pretend like she's in an Uber. Now, I knew she was hooking up with dudes for money, and frankly, at this point, it's not my business. So I keep quiet. I'm driving home while she has a little chat with this guy in the back seat. Everything about the conversation seemed normal as far as normal goes, but when she got off the phone call, she really seemed shook. Like she was genuinely afraid that he would find out that she was with another guy. So I asked her, I was like, "Are you okay? Is everything all right?" And she's like, "Yeah, he's just some guy I'm seeing. He gets really jealous about other guys. It's no big deal. Don't worry about it." And again, we're broken up, so it's not my business. I'm like, cool, let it go. Anyway, so we finally get back to my place, and you know, things start heating up and things start coming off, and then I saw the most fucked up thing I've ever seen in my entire life. At this point, we're in it. She's completely naked. Things are about to go down. And granted, this isn't my first rodeo. I know what to expect. I've been with this girl before, and this completely threw me for a loop. Right before I was going downtown, I noticed on the inside of her legs right here, both sides, were long scars from cuts. And I asked her, I was like, "What happened? Are you okay?" Like I thought, I don't know, maybe she was depressed. Who knows? But there were legit 4 or 5 lines on both sides of her inner thigh where she was cutting herself. It wasn't like that before. I was like, "Are you depressed or something? Like, what's going on?" She goes, "No, it's nothing like that. That guy from the FaceTime call, apparently he likes to see young girls bleed. And a part of their little arrangement during the act is her cutting herself a little bit." I had to stop. I couldn't do it. I felt so bad for how things had progressed for her. I couldn't believe it had gotten that far. She became upset with me, but it gets worse. After I had seen all the cuts and the marks on her inner thighs like that, I just couldn't do it. And she became mad at me like, "What's the problem?" I'm like, "Girl, the problem is right there between your legs." So she left. She called herself an Uber and she left my house, kind of in a fuss. I remember thinking after she had left, like I felt so bad for her and how far down the rabbit holes she had gone. Because remember, we dated before it had ever gotten that bad. She used to be a bright, smiley, happy person. I mean, she's on my Instagram. You would never think in a million years she'd be that kind of girl that would go this far. Anyways, I texted her later and was like, I can't believe this has gotten this far. I really think you should reassess your life or whatever. It's not my business, but honestly, you need to take a good hard look at yourself. She never responded to that text message, but she calls me up 2 weeks later crying her eyes out saying that sugar daddy never paid her for the session they had. And she was going to come up with a scheme to blackmail this guy because apparently he has a wife and 2 daughters. She calls me up to explain the situation and tell me the plot to blackmail her sugar daddy. But apparently this guy was fucking loaded. He lived on Mount Olympus. He has a whole family and he didn't want them to know about it. She's telling me all this and I'm like, "Girl, don't do this. Haven't you ever seen any fucking movie? Like this always will end badly for you." Then she got mad at me because I wouldn't help her and she hung up on me. And that was the last time I ever spoke to her. And that's the problem with being a sugar baby. Just like with this girl, it started off small, some pictures for money. Then a dinner for some money. Then a little extracurricular date for money. And it just justification after justification after justification until the next thing you know, you're doing some super harmful shit. You're going to have bills every month and it's just too much money to ever walk away from. It's like you put yourself in a prison, but the bars are made of gold. That was a tragic situation, but not a tragic ending. That girl got married to a very successful guy and she seems happy.